Okay, so if you're talking about race day, it'll depend what race you're doing, and it'll depend what time it's at, what you can eat. Usually they recommend before a race that for about 3 hours, maybe 1 to 3 hours beforehand, you have a reasonably large meal with a few hundred grams of carbohydrates. So a typical example of that would be some a big bowl of cereal, whether it's muesli, doesn't really matter, and some orange juice, some fruit, toast and beans, toast and jam, things like that. So fairly high carbs. Any protein or fat on the day of a race aren't going to be used to any extent. So you want to focus mainly on the carbs and make sure you time it well before the race. You don't have it too close, within sort of half an hour beforehand, because you'll be running with a full stomach. And you also don't want to have it too long in advance where you're going to be starting to feel too hungry. So if it's an early race, you don't want to be getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning to get your food in. So make sure the night before you've got good stocks of carbohydrates the night before, and you'll sort of got plenty of fluids the night before. So when it comes to the morning, if it's 10 o'clock start, you just have to top up those stores in the morning. You're not having to refill them. You're just going to be topping them up. So some, as I said, high carbs, some fruit, some veg, some sports drinks, even some orange squash, things like that would be a good way to get enough carbs before you start the race.